Yeah. But I mean, how I always start the show is because it's a journey. Most of us would have seen you on TV, seen your name on credits, but we don't always get to hear the story, the backstory. And so this is part of that whole journey as to how you made it from wherever you came from to become a recording artist, to become a Grammy winner, to have the rights and stuff. So, because everyone's like, well, how did he do it? So, we're going to start
Okay.
off. We do have an international audience, so people might not be
Right.
familiar with place. So, if you start off and saying, we know you're from the States, but where exactly were you sort of born and raised?
Okay. Well, I was born and raised in Englewood, New Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah, Englewood, New Jersey, where Regina Bell was like the first person to get out. We all went to the same high school together. Regina Bell,
Oh,
her brother Bernard Bell.
oh, Bernard
Then
that
we
we
got
all Bernard that we always see with Teddy and the writing
yeah,
Let's Chill and
yes
kissing him.
sir.
Wow. So
That
wow.
Bernard Bell, Big Bub from the group today. The
He was
whole
it.
group, the whole group today is from
What?
Inglewood.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. And then we got the group Riff, who's from Patterson, where Chauncey's from.
Yeah, yeah. We're
So
good friends with
like,
Nitty. Yeah.
yeah,
Nitty
we
Gritty.
all grew up. We all grew up in singing gospel, singing quartet in
Wow.
church, singing in the choir together. Bernard was my organist.
What?
You know what I mean? Yeah, me and Bob sung. Me, Bob, and Chauncey sung in a gospel group, and Mike Nitty. We sung in a gospel group together growing up. So
Oh my
like this
goodness.
is yeah, man. We family.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
And that so New Jersey, I mean that's amazing because a lot of what we hear from New, especially with Uptown and stuff was always New York, New York. But when we're seeing a
Yeah.
lot of the sort of the core from this whole New Jack Swing family, it seems that New
Jersey.
Jersey had a
Redhead
big part
Kingpin
of play.
too. Redhead Kingpin right there. We all went to school together. We grew up together.
Are you kidding me?
Nah, man. It's right Inglewood, New Jersey. Yeah,
But then, so
straight
you
up.
guys, so as singers and performers, you guys kind of knew each other as kids. I mean,
Yeah, we played football, basketball. We went to school together. Like we grew up to. Matter of fact, Bub, myself, and another gentleman by the name of Ronald Scruggs, who like he taught us all.
wow,
We grew up in the same projects. Like we are brothers. You know what
my
I mean?
goodness. Now,
Yeah.
back in those days, did was singing something that bonded you guys, or was it other things? 'Cause we know Americans are really versatile with basketball, baseball, football, and stuff like that. But what was it that sort of united you guys back in those days?
Singing. Like I said, we all grew up in the church. That's how I met Chauncey in church. Like I
Wow.
was singing in one group, one gospel group.
Yeah.
Chauncey and Nitty was singing in a different gospel group, but like they were so good, they basically stole me from my group to come and join their group,
Okay. Okay.
and I was more than happy to go.
So back in those days, did you guys ever think music was something that you'd ever do, or was it just a pastime, or what was the idea?
Well, to be honest, for Bub was destined to do this. um I was happy singing in church, not well, yeah, I was happy singing in church, but basically, I never thought that it would be possible for me to go beyond singing in church until I saw, well, Regina was an exception, but
Okay.
after Regina came today, and I actually, Bob, actually they wanted me to be in the group today, but I didn't think it was gonna fly. I didn't, I didn't think it could happen. So I was like, nah, I'm cool. I'm cool with doing the gospel. And then
Hmm.
it popped, you know. So yeah, after today, me and Chauncey got together. We was like, yo, man, we could do this ourselves. So me and Chauncey formed a group called Just Two. It was just the two of us.
Wow.
And we got with Bernard, and Bernard did a couple demos with us, and he introduced it to Teddy at that time. That was years ago. That was like what year did Today's first album come out?
Would have been
90, 89 or 90. So that was around then.
89. Okay. No.
89, 90, yeah.
Yeah, okay. We're going to go back a little bit because that, I mean, this is so because you mentioned that you said Bob was destined. I mean, I know he's taller than most of you guys, but did you then,
Yes.
what was about him then that you guys as friends could say, man, this guy's gonna make it?
Well, like I said, we sung quartet in a quartet group in church,
Yeah.
and Bob would be hitting spins and like doing things that we would typically do in a church singing
Wow.
gospel. You know what I mean? Yeah, he just it was me. I was like the quiet kind of singer. Like nobody really knew. If you didn't go to my church, you
Yeah.
really didn't know I sung.
Yeah.
Bob was doing all the talent shows, and
Oh.
he was there. But yeah, that's pretty much what it was.
And so you didn't join today, but the other guys, all friends, were they writing their own stuff and back in those days and produce? Or what was it? What was it like for you guys? Was it more of a you just sing covers and then you'll be fine with that, or?
Well, you're speaking about today, right?
Well, I wanted to start off with you and and as a group because you said you guys were all together. So I'm wondering if you were all
Yeah, but
writing as a.
we were singing gospel. So yeah, we were coming up with our own gospel songs, not recording, just performing in church. And
Okay.
mostly cover songs, yeah, mostly
Okay.
cover gospel songs.
Yeah. But then were you with the guys from today and were they writing their own stuff and you were watching and thinking, wow, you.
Yeah, yeah. On that first Today album, I think they wrote a lot of that stuff with Teddy and Bernard.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so they said join. You didn't think it was gonna do well. So, but then did they come back and said, guys, we got a deal. Do you want to join us, or what was it?
Well, really what happened was Bub he came to me before the deal,
Okay.
and I just wasn't interested in doing R&B at that time.
Yeah.
Again, one, because I didn't think it was gonna fly, and then two, I was into doing gospel.
Yeah.
So I missed that opportunity. He definitely offered a spot for me, but it didn't play out. It wasn't supposed to happen, so
Yeah.
it didn't. You know what I mean?
And you said you also met with Teddy after they signed or before they signed?
After they signed, Bernard introduced Chauncey and myself to Teddy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's like this goes way back, man. Like we've known each other for a long time, even before Blackstreet started.
Yeah, yeah. And then we'll get to
Yeah.
Blackstreet, but then when you get introduced by Bernard to Teddy, had Groove Me has come out. He's already done all the Kumo D stuff. He's already done the Heavy D stuff.
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah,
then
Teddy
think,
was
oh,
large.
how was it meeting him back in those days, knowing?
It was everything. Teddy was large. He was incredible. He was incredible. Like that was a dream for Chauncey and I. But that didn't play out for whatever reason. I don't remember exactly what happened, but I know we had Chauncey and I had written a song for ourselves, and Bernard produced it. And I think he took the song to Teddy, or they were working on the Jacksons album at the time.
Okay, 2300 Jackson Street, yeah.
Yeah, and Bernard presented that song to the Jacksons, and I believe they wanted to cut it, but it was something that we didn't. Chauncey and I, we wanted that song for ourselves. So
Okay.
I think that's how it kind of messed up around
Yeah.
around that time.
Okay.
Because we weren't ready to give it up.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
What did you do with the song?
It still hasn't been recorded.
Okay.
I mean, it's an old song, man, so it wouldn't work today. But
Yeah.
at the time, it was a banging joint.
You know, we've heard quite a lot about Bernard Bell. We see his name a lot, but we don't see him talking around. But you've known him back in those days. What was he? What's his? I mean, what's his skill? Does he sing as well? Because we know about him as a writer, but
He sings. He sings. Bernard sing. Bernard plays. You put anything in front of him, he can play it. You know what I mean? Yeah, Bernard was an incredible songwriter, musician. Like I said, he played organ for me on the choir.
Okay.
He played guitar for us.
Wow.
Playing in the gospel groups. Yeah, Bernard was like he was like the musician of our area, our
Yeah.
crew. You know what I mean?
But
Yeah.
did you think he was also going to be destined like Bub when you know growing up, or did you think that he'll be one of us and just relax and?
Well, I didn't know Bernard as long as I knew Bub. I didn't know Bernard until Today was really popping. Maybe a year or two before Today really got on. You
Okay.
know what I mean? So Bernard and Bub they were in a group together even before Today. So
Okay.
yeah, I mean, this goes on and on.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay. So I was interested that you said you really were really focused in the gospel and I mean I went to university in the States and I know how much religion I'm sorry the church has developed so many talents within the R&B
Yes, sir.
community,
Yes, sir.
which is amazing. At those in those times, did you was it influenced by your family to say this is where we're going to stay, and you really wanted to stay in and go down the gospel route, or was it just enjoy singing on the weekends and then just
Yeah,
thinking?
that was pretty much it. I mean, to be honest, like I was forced to sing. My mother made me get on the choir, and then the choir director made me lead a song,
Hmm.
and it just, like I sung and people got excited, and then like I said, Bernard joined the choir, and Bernard is really the person who pushed me to do this because
Wow.
I was content with singing in the choir,
Yeah.
being mad about it, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And he was just like, yo, like you got something, man. Like, yo, your voice is so smooth. And, he pushed me. I cannot tell a lie. Bernard is my man. And if it were not for Bernard, I probably wouldn't be doing this interview with you right now.
My
That's real
goodness.
talk.
My
Yeah.
goodness. Yeah, as I said, we've heard a lot about him. Teddy talks about him. It's in John Marie. There's no one I've talked to that doesn't bring up Bernard Bell,
Yeah.
and so I mean, he's going to definitely, hopefully, he'll get his props and get to share his story. But then, when he was pushing, did you think? Because you mentioned, is it after Today got their deal that you and said, "Oh, okay, maybe we should do this," or what was?
Yeah.
Or were you trying to be a gospel group, or what was? What how did that switch from
Well, we
singing?
were already doing gospel, Chauncey and I.
Okay.
But when we both saw Today do it, we were like, yo, if they could do it, we could do it. So we gonna do it. We gonna put an R&B situation together. Me and Chauncey.
Yeah.
So we went to Bernard and like I said, we put a couple songs together. He introduced us to Teddy over this one song that we did,
Yeah.
and I mean that was the connection. That's where it all started. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
But he's introduced to Teddy, but Gene was still in the picture, wasn't he? Gene Griffin? Yeah.
Gene was still in the picture at that time.
So, but okay, there's a little smile there, but because was he
No,
not
no, no.
the, yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
go ahead.
yeah. No, I was just wondering though, but because I would have thought he had most of the say from because he was running the business side. Would he would have said, "Oh, that looks good, bring it here," or it just went to Teddy and he,
Yeah, well, like I said, I think that the issue was the song. Like Chauncey and I were looking at it as, we're gonna do this group, and Bernard could introduce us to Teddy for the group.
just be
But
signed.
that was the plan. That
Yeah.
was the plan. But I think somehow when the song got introduced, it was like, yo, I'm working on this Michael Jackson this project, let's present this song to them. So we were kind of left out of it. You know what I mean?
Oh,
I don't
yeah,
know all the details, but
yeah,
that's
yeah.
what it seemed like. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I never even brought it up again, but
Yeah, but it's
yeah.
strange. It's because it's having just a duo, just you and Chauncey in a group. Was that not apart from Eddie Kendricks and David and David Ruffin? There was not
Nah, you know
many.
what? At the time, it was a group called what do you call it? In Touch, I believe. They were on Elektra
Yeah,
Records.
yeah, yes, yes, yeah, and yeah,
Yeah,
and
so
touch.
it wasn't, it was kind of different, but it
Yeah,
wasn't, what I mean, like they had done it, you know what I mean, at the time. So that was one of the reasons why we wanted to do it too, because it wasn't like what everybody else was doing, but
yeah,
it had been done. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So when that didn't happen, what did you end up doing? What yourself?
Uh yeah, so that didn't happen. And then Chauncey and I kind of, we went our separate ways. that's when I got involved with actually Bernard again. Bernard introduced me to a gentleman by the name of Darren Lighty. I'm sure you've heard
Yeah,
his
yeah,
name.
Darren Lighty, yeah.
Darren Lighty and Cliff,
Untouchable, yeah.
which was the group called the Flex. So it was myself, Darren, and his brother Cliff. And we did the whole LL thing with Marley. And matter of fact, we sung on all of that hip hop stuff Marley was doing back then.
Oh, so did you guys sign to Marley Marl back in?
Yes, we had a deal through Marley on Stylish Records.
Okay.
Universal,
Yeah.
MCA rather.
Yeah.
And so we were working on an album, but it never came out. I don't even remember why it didn't, but it didn't.
But before that, you guys were doing all the background stuff for LL?
Right. So we were touring with LL.
Oh.
All of that stuff. Marley was working on back then when so that was like really the beginning of hip hop and with R&B backgrounds and all of that.
Yeah.
So we worked with Heavy, Marley, Craig G, Tragedy, TJ Swan. We did a bunch of stuff with him. We did a bunch of that stuff, man.
So in all these tracks, would they have featuring the Flex, or it just in the background credit will say backgrounds by the Flex? Okay.
Backgrounds, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which did you do Round the Way Girl? Were you on that? Okay.
Yeah, that was the one. That was the one that got the deal and everything for the Flex.
Okay, so Marley put you guys on that, and so Silas said, "Oh, who are the guys singing background for that?" And he said, "These are my guys." And
right.
Wow.
That's basically how that went. Yeah.
And then when Ella was touring, you guys would go on tour and do the back and do.
Yeah, we did all the TV stuff with L. We didn't really go on a tour, but like all the promotional TV, and we did all of that.
Okay.
MTV Jams and what was it? The Party Machine.
Okay.
Soul Train. Actually, we did the Soul Train Awards with him too 1 year. That year.
How long was that? The Flex. How long was that for? How long?
Man. So I guess Around the Way Girl came out around 90, 91, somewhere in there.
Mm.
And I did that until I got with Blackstreet.
Oh, but okay. So you're with them until you got into Blackstreet.
Right.
Okay.
So and we were a production team as well. Like we wrote songs and produced songs for other. So it wasn't just us as a singing group, but we were like a production team. You know what I mean? Darren was doing the production and Cliff and I did most of the writing.
Wow.
Now don't ask me who we worked with, because I know we did Bub. We did a song for Eminem, which is
is it Mary Martha? I was gonna think Eminem would have been too Slim Shady, but it was Mary Martha who were in Abstract.
Yep. A couple artists that probably never really jumped off, but yeah. And we were doing our own stuff.
How did you meet Darren? Because as I said, Darren Lighty, I think he did part of Untouched was he worked with. That's why somebody asked, "Did you work with Donnell Jones?" And I'm thinking the connection is with Darren Lighty.
Yeah. No. I mean, well, like I said, Bernard introduced me to Darren.
Yeah.
Bernard introduced me to Teddy. He introduced me to Darren.
Wow.
Yeah, and Darren introduced me to Marley, so that's how that happened. But yeah,
okay.
Man.
Okay. Did you work with Donnell Jones?
Yeah. But that was through Candy Toots, who was the A&R at the time. So Darren was working with Eddie, and then me and my partner Wes we were doing stuff.
Okay, so you guys the group had broken up by that time.
Yeah, like I said, after 90 and 96, I came to Blackstreet, so that was the end of the Flex.
Yeah.
But we were always, we always stayed. Those are my brothers. So.
Yeah. Okay. But you're singing, but what about the writing part? How did that skill come about?
The first song I ever wrote was the song that Chauncey and I wrote with for ourselves, just two.
Yeah.
That we gave to Bernard, that he gave to Teddy. You know what I mean? So that was the very first song well, I don't know about Chauncey, but it was the first song I wrote.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Yeah.
you're saying you just come up with words and just hope it works, or did you
You know
play?
what's crazy?
Yeah.
This is what's crazy. Chauncey and I sat in my mother's living room, dining room table. We didn't have any original music, right? So we took today's song, Stood Me Up, right?
Yeah.
So we're listening to Stood Me Up with their lyrics and everything, and wrote our own song to the music.
Oh.
Totally separate. Well, not. I'm saying now the music wasn't separate, so we're blocking out what they're saying.
But listen to the music, yeah.
Listening to the music, and we came up with our own song.
Oh, okay.
That's wild. Like I don't think I could do that today for real. That was crazy.
But that's how you, because I mean, I guess what's fascinating, because I do hear, I heard writers say things different where the music comes first, and then based on the music they put the lyrics. But then you have some
Sometimes,
others who the words just keep coming in with a melody, and then
right.
they take it to the guy who writes the song, or the person who writes the song that brings out the music. But
Yeah.
but so did you then, was that how you started to learn how to write, that one experience?
Yeah. Pretty much.
How did you
Pretty much.
then move it forward then?
The writing.
Yeah, the writing. How did you then move? Did you, you
Well, I mean, like I said, Bernard Bell, like he was a music producer. He was the man. He influenced me, and we got together. I pretty much learned writing from Bernard Bell and a gentleman by the name of Ronald Scruggs. Like just being around, you know what I mean?
could you play anything at that time? Could you play any
No,
instrument?
no. I mean, I'm still not a musician, but I could play around enough with sequencing to, get an idea. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Yeah, I'm not like them. No.
Okay. No, well, no. I mean, yeah, not like just like coming out with the keys and stuff like that. But I just thought
Right.
there was the person who writes the lyrics, but then also having the melody that comes in. That it's like, because if you see like Babyface would, when it's a Babyface song, he's probably played the guitar and he's writing to he's
Right.
writing the music and the lyrics. When you're
Right.
composing a song, would you be writing just the lyrics and somebody else predominantly does the music, or would you get credited for doing both?
Yeah, most of the time, like I said, most of the time with the Jahiem stuff, that's pretty much me and my man Wes. But lately, I've been like getting tracks from people, from producers, and penning pretty
Okay,
much.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. So
But
if
I mean,
yeah,
a lot of the Darnell stuff. That's pretty much stuff that we came up with. Big shout out to my man Big Worm for blessing us with those keys on that joint too.
okay,
But yeah,
okay. I guess if we just drop back slightly, so you're sitting and watching today coming out with Him and Me, blowing up the charts. Are you watching
tearing
it?
it up.
That's my man. That's my guys. I should have been. Or what were your thoughts? Did you get to? I mean, would you? How was the whole community when you see the guys really ripping it
Oh,
up and
oh,
having?
they had Inglewood on smash. Like Bub, and they were killing it. Bub, Chief, Wes, and Love. Yeah, but I mean, like I said, when Chauncey and I saw that, we was like, man, bump this. Like we, we could do this, man. Let's put a group together and let's get it done.
Had
And
Nitty and
that's
Rift come out as well?
yeah, Riff was out by nah. You know what? I'm not even sure if Riff was out by then. But we all had the same mentality after we saw Today do it. It wasn't like a Regina Bell. You know what I mean?
Okay,
Like
because she was on
Regina,
a different level. She was like
Regina's
Whitney.
special. Like we know that's gonna happen. You know what I mean? But after our boys did it, we could do it. If they could do it, we could do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was just pretty much how it was. That's how it went.
But you said after the Teddy stuff didn't work out, so you and Chauncey sort of split. So and you joined the Flex. Did you then keep an eye out to see what was up with Chauncey, or?
Yeah, well, that's around the time where Chauncey was already working with Teddy on Blackstreet, and now, according to Teddy and Chauncey, they wanted me to be a part of the original Blackstreet as well. But I was already in a situation with Marley at Universal, so I couldn't do it if, you know, even though they may have wanted me to do it, I was already obligated.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so they put Blackstreet together and blew up.
So, I mean, going back, because, you know, a lot of people probably, we don't hear much about Marley Marl this generation, even in the 90s, probably don't hear about him as much as those from the late 80s to the mid 90s would always know about. He was, you know, Teddy gives him props about one of the people who really took hip hop to another level, especially with a lot of the LL joints and stuff. You know, you worked with Teddy and other producers. What was Marley like in the studio?
Marley is crazy too on the SP 1200. Like it's a whole nother thing. Like Marley wasn't really a musician. That's what we had Darren Lighty.
Okay.
But yeah, Marley was crazy with beats, man. Like even to today, he sent me something not too long ago. That's crazy.
Yeah. Working with LL back in those days, I mean, he'd already done I'm Bad, and he's, you know, I Need Love, and he was, you know, really one of the, you know, as a, not just as a hip hop artist, but he was as a symbol. He was, you know, he was up there.
Yes, sir.
Behind the scenes when the camera's off, working.
Oh, he's a funny dude. He's a funny guy. Yeah, we had a good time recording all that stuff with L.
Yeah.
Funny guy. Smart too. Intelligent man.
Oh, business wise and everything. And
yeah, I mean, yeah, he's smart. He's a smart dude.
What did you learn when you were part of the Flex before you guys, you know, as business about the industry? Because we, you know, one of the sad things that has come across with a lot of the interviews I've had is everyone saying about going in and, you know, losing publishing, losing all this in management fees because they just didn't know. What did you learn from your?
Let me back up a little. This is what happened with Flex and the deal. It was a publishing issue. Like, so we were doing the writing and most of the producing, but, you know, entwined in the deal was a situation where they wanted the publishing, and that's where it fell apart. Like we just couldn't do that, and that's how it fell apart.
Did you know? I mean, because I guess it's the, you know, people. What we're learning as fans is that it is a music business.
Yes.
And the music industry is the entertainment, the singing, but it's the business back end where you know how much money you get per record sales, your points, your advances, the publishing. Now, I do wonder if I, you know, was 12 years old and somebody gives me $1 billion and says, "Here's your money," I wouldn't know how to spend it. And I do wonder when you get into the industry, you know, no one goes into school to say this is what the publishing, this is ownership and stuff like that, catalogs and stuff. When did you learn about, okay, we need to be careful about what we own and our publishing and all that stuff? How did you learn it?
Yeah, I mean, again, I would say during that situation, because Marley was more like a brother to us. Like if Marley had to go out of town to let's say he went to Miami to work, he would have me come and house sit for him. You know what I mean? Like I would stay at his crib and watch the house while he's gone.
Yeah.
So when it came to like I said, we were cool. Like we hung together, you know what I'm saying? We always in the city working. And when it came to doing that business, you know, at that time, it was like, you know, we get the contract and we like, nah, this, because he had a manager at the time as well. So, you know, we looking at the manager like, yo, like, what are you trying to do? Like, and so we go to Marley. We like, yo, man, this she got this in this agreement. Like, this is whack. And he was like, nah, yeah, I'm gonna talk to her about that. I shouldn't be in there. And so, you know, the next time the contract came up, we saw the contract, it's still there. So we like, oh, Marley, man, like, what's going on right here, dude? And he's like, basically, you know, it came to a point where he's like, well, you know, this is how the business is. You know what I'm saying? This is what it has to be. And that just, it didn't work. It didn't work for us. So that was pretty much the end of that.
Now,
but like you said, that's how the business is. See, me, if I go, well, I'm going through some things. So if there's somebody coming up, you know, if I'm bringing somebody up, right?
yeah,
I'm the type of person, I'm gonna make sure that they don't have, if it's at all possible, if I'm in a position to make it better for that person than it was for me, that's what I'm gonna do. Not everybody thinks that way. A lot of people think like, well, it took me this long. It's got, you know, that's how it is. It's gonna take you this. It's gonna take you that long.
yeah.
And that's not cool, man.
I interviewed Tabitha Duncan from Cut Close, and she explained the same thing. You know, they you know, record deal and publishing deal, taking half of their publishing, and it was that sense of, well, somebody messed us over, so we're going to almost get it back from you, and then once we've gotten our stuff from you, then you got to have to mess up the next person, almost like that sort of vicious cycle.
And that's what it is. I just don't understand it. Like, somebody took all your money, and so you're gonna turn around and take all my, you remember how that felt.
Yeah.
Right. But you're gonna do it anyway. You're gonna do it to me because it was done to you. And
yeah.
That's how you justify it. No.
Wow.
That's terrible.
But then, as I said, contracts can be big and they can be very small print. Did you go as a group to a lawyer to say, look, read through this, tell us what we need to do, or did you guys go?
No. We got attorneys. We got
attorneys, and they pointed out that look at what they're saying and stuff like that.
Right. Pretty much. Like, now, hey, right here. You don't want to do that. No. You don't want to do that.
Now that the thing is, then there is, and I've heard other people who say, even though this is the case, we don't want to miss our opportunity. Yeah. What made you guys feel as if, even if this is our opportunity at this point, we're going to take that brave decision to say, stand up and protect our own?
Because the relation, like I said, we were friends and brothers, you know what I mean? So moving forward, the whole relationship changed after that, because, like we're looking at the situation like, yo, like we family, but it not everybody saw it that way. And that changed, that just messed up the whole thing. It messed up the relationship.
Then what did you do after that then? After that, so when that sort of, the flex sort of fell apart, what did you then do? Did you guys just keep together? Well, we'll just produce people. Or
yeah, the flex didn't fall apart. The deal fell apart.
The deal fell apart. Okay, to be as a group.
To work. Right, we continued to work on original music. Like I said, the writing and producing. And then, that wasn't going all that great as far as the deal situation. And then I got the call for Blackstreet while I was still in that situation.
Yeah. Back in that situation, did you then think, well, this isn't too bad because, I don't have to be on the road. We have publishing, we and stuff. Or did you then think, I still want to sing? Or what was your thinking?
What do you mean, before Blackstreet?
Yeah, before Blackstreet. Yeah, so when the deal with Marley didn't go through, and so you weren't going to get to become a group, and you guys were doing production as a group, as a production group, did you think, well, this isn't too bad? I mean, did you think about being a full-time writer producer?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I enjoy being in the studio. Like, I would prefer that than being on the stage. Like, I enjoy singing, but I'm not like really the entertainer kind of, what I mean? The flash, that ain't me at all.
Okay.
So yeah, that was cool. We signed a publishing deal sometime during that time. So yeah, we focused on writing and trying to get songs placed at that time.
And so you guys, you signed a good publishing deal, I guess. Is it the three of you together, or is it individual?
It was the three of us together.
Okay.
We signed it together until. Oh, well, I'll let you lead the conversation.
No, go ahead. Until.
Well, I was gonna say until I did the Blackstreet thing, and then we separated the publishing.
Okay.
At that point.
Okay. So you guys, when you got the call from Blackstreet, did you say, guys, I've got this call to join Blackstreet, and they're like, no, come on, stay, or did they say, yeah, go, we bless you? What was it?
Well, yeah, they said to go. They said to go, and I wanted to go, and they gave me their blessings, but they weren't happy about that at
Oh,
all. Nah, they wasn't happy. But like what my whole thing was, I'm saying, listen, this is an opportunity. It's an opportunity for me, but it could also be an opportunity for us. You know what I mean? Like, let me go and get in, and then when the time is right, I could bring y'all in, because Teddy was Teddy Riley. You know what I'm saying? And Darren was he's a dope producer. He's a dope musician.
yeah.
So I was like, look, man, like, I could do this Blackstreet thing, and then I could, we could do the production thing. I could bring y'all in. It could be good. And so that's, they were cool with it, but they wasn't really cool with it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, okay.
So,
But
yeah.
then, and they fell apart because did Darren then go join Eddie F? And
Well, Dan was working with Eddie and KG. I think he's working. Yeah, he started with Eddie, and then I think he went to KG, and then back to Eddie. Like, but Dan was freelancing. He wasn't really,
he wasn't part of it.
right. He was. I mean, yeah, he wasn't really like a partner. Let me not say that, because I'm not sure.
Yeah, okay,
But
okay.
he worked. He worked mostly with Eddie and KG.
Okay,
That I
okay.
know for a fact.
Okay, okay. And so, if for people who don't know, KG was part of Naughty by Nature, and he came out
Is
with
part of Naughty by Nature.
came
Yeah,
out with
he's
Next, Jahiem, and
Buffy
Janae.
Brown, Shanae.
Okay.
Who else was it? Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
So before we get to Blackstreet, because there are questions about Blackstreet, it would be good to go into the part that people ask about. I can't remember who I was speaking to. I think Sprague, Doogie, was saying, you gave all your best stuff to Jahiem and stuff, and others are saying, did
Not
you ever?
everybody say that.
No, I don't. No, no. A lot of the fans said they know you for the Jahiem stuff because
Right.
he blew up. And they wonder, and some asked, did Eric ever want to go solo? Because Jahiem took
See,
all his
that's the
best stuff.
thing. Okay, this is the thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
I decided to do a solo album, right?
Okay.
I decided to do a solo album solely to get my music out. Like, it wasn't about me being an artist. It was about me getting the music out, right?
Oh, what do you mean to get the music out?
Like, to get publishing. Like, it was about that side of the business. So I figured, okay, I have a voice that people enjoy.
Yeah.
It's, again, I don't want to say I don't love to sing, because I do, but
Yeah.
if I had my choice, if I could make the money behind the scenes, I would do that. That would be my first. All right. So when it came to me doing these songs, I was doing it. I was writing it. So most of the stuff Jahiem that I did for Jahiem was for me.
Okay.
Right? It was going to be for me, but I was only doing that so that I could get my music out. So when Jahiem came along and he was like, "Yo, I like that. Oh my God, we got to do this. Let me do that." I was like, "Bet." You know what I mean? That's what's up.
Okay.
And that's basically how that went. So I know a lot of people say I gave Jahiem my sound, and it. Like I said, I did the songs because I did all of these recordings because I wanted to get music. I wanted to hear my stuff on the radio.
Yeah.
I mean, my songs.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because I know that's where the money is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so when he fell in love with all the stuff we were doing, I was like, all right, if I need be, I could do some more stuff for myself.
Yeah.
People were mad at me. They was upset with me about giving Jahiem.
But because his album, because his style of, it was himself, D'Angelo, Maxwell. There are very few coming out with that style, and he really, of course, he didn't sound like how he looked, but but it was a really, powerful album with really, steady songs, and that was very different. What was it like for you seeing how successful his album and all your songs were doing.
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, you know what's crazy? The first single that he came out with is "Could It Be." That's a song that me and Wes we produced, and but we didn't pin that record. Bilal pinned the record because I didn't like Wes did the beat, and I was like, I mean, it's cool, it's all right. It didn't really move me like that.
Yeah,
but it moved them, and they wrote a crazy joint. You know what I'm saying? That was a dope record.
wow.
Yeah.
And then, how many tracks did you do on Jahiem's debut album?
On that first album, we did, I think, 9.
Wow.
Yeah, 8 or 9 records on that.
Wow.
That first.
Did he
Yeah,
write
and
any?
what's crazy is what's crazy about that album is now this is from Jahiem. Jahiem would say that KG wasn't really feeling. Jahiem wanted to work with me, right? Like KG would give him beats, and Jahiem would be like, I mean, that's cool, but I want to work with E. I want to go down to Virginia and work with E. So KG was like, all right, cool. You know, go down there. And KG focused on next.
Yeah.
Right. So Jahiem came to Virginia for like 3 months, maybe. And we just banged joints out. And when he came back, when he went back with the records, now I wasn't in the meeting, but the record company loved the stuff from what I hear. And then KG was able to come behind what we did, right? So KG was able to hear our records and then go in the studio and make better records. Not to say that it wouldn't be better anyway, but he had an advantage as far as getting the singles off the album. You feel me?
Yeah.
Because he heard everything that we did, and now he can do 3 or 4 songs behind what we did and make sure that they're as good or better. You know what I'm saying?
On the Jahiem album.
Right.
Okay, and he'll have a say on which one gets released first and gets the
Well,
airplay.
he was pretty much the record company anyway, but
Yeah.
But all of those Put That Woman, was that on the first album? No.
Because Just in Case. Yeah.
Just in Case, that's what I'm talking about. So Just in Case came after all the stuff that we did. That's my point.
Okay, yeah,
you know
yeah.
I mean?
Yeah, okay. So okay. So he's got a feel for what Jahiem sounds like and what he feels like, and then
basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then that part of producing, but what about Donnell? What were you doing? Did Darren call you to say, hey, let's meet up?
No, Donnell didn't call.
Not
the
Darren.
A&R,
Okay.
Girl by the name of Candy Tukes. Okay, so I met Candy after working on the Usher record, the I Will record. So Candy was the A&R for that album, and she came to Virginia and she heard the stuff that we were doing, you know, like, because I helped write I Will for Usher. And when Darnell came up, you know, that project came up for her, she called me and Wes to come and, you know, be a part of it. And we went down and, you know, cut a couple joints with him.
Okay.
Those are crazy records too.
I always used to think that Darnell wrote and did all his own stuff, but
he does. Yeah, he does. Darnell's he's incredible. But I think at that time that the label didn't want him to do the whole project.
Okay.
And I don't think he was too happy about it either initially.
Yeah.
Like when we came down and we had to work, it was, you know, he wasn't like really all thrilled about us being there. But we came up with some good stuff, man. He, you know, Darnell's crazy. He's dope.
Yeah.
He's a dope writer and singer.
Yeah,
And he plays.
Yeah, no, we're looking forward to his 100% Free coming out soon. His new but
nuts.
So when you were out in Virginia still with the Blackstreet, you were then also on the side doing your production.
Yes.
Okay. So how would you get the calls? Who would call you up and say, "Come on, Eric, we want you to do this," or how would that come about? These projects.
I mean, we didn't do many projects outside of Darnell and Jahiem. Like Jahiem just kept coming back to us, so You know what I mean? That's how we got so many joints. But yeah, we weren't like, listen, we were doing music because it's what we love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we weren't doing tracks and sending them to record labels. You know, I got a song for such and such. It wasn't like that. It was people were calling us. Like people would hear stuff we were doing, or you know, they would come to Virginia and then we would be around, and you know, they would hear something and be like, "Yo, let's hook up," and that's how that went. Even with Rel, like I did a couple joints with Rel too. I don't know if you know Rel from Rockefeller.
No.
No, Rel was crazy too.
Okay.
Yeah, but
somebody asked, and I might as well ask now. Did you work with Tupac?
yeah, I did a feature with Tupac. Don't ask me the name of the song. And it's not because it's not a dope song. It's just, you know.
Yeah.
I don't remember songs like that.
The question they asked was, did you meet up with him, and how was it?
He already passed away.
Okay. Because they asked, how was it?
I mean, I met him before, but I don't have a relationship with him.
Okay, because they did. Someone asked, they asked Eric, how was it like working with Tupac, and so that's why I sort of brought that up.
But that was kind of crazy though, how that happened. That was a blessing. I wasn't expecting it, but you know, the record company wanted me. I did the song with Queen Pen on her album.
Yeah. Okay, that's Never Too Much. The Luther.
Yeah, All My Love.
All My Love.
The name of that one. Right.
Yeah, All My Love. Yeah.
Yeah, and so, you know, Interscope wanted me to do this with Tupac, and they made it happen. So,
is it after they? Is it not Do For You?
Do For Love.
Do For Love. Is that what you did?
Yeah, Do For Love.
Okay, Do For Love. Yeah.
You didn't even know that, huh?
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, it was a big hit. It was a big track.
Yeah, it's a big record, right?
How come you got to do the track with Queen Pen?
That was something Teddy wanted. Yeah, you know, Teddy was the producer, so
he
called me and, yo, I need you to do this hook, and it's like, I bet. So
yeah. I mean, it's I mean, we can go to Blackstreet, but before we do get to Blackstreet, were you also still keeping in touch with Today and Bub and Redhead and stuff?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And so when that whole thing, you know, the whole GR collapsed and everything, you were in the Flex, and you were watching when the whole, you know, they had this massive empire, which I tell people that, you know, people think about Bad Boy and No Limits and Social Death, but I think GR Production had, you know, Abstract, they had Rex and Effect, Guy, Today, Basic Black, they had, you know, they were looking like they were just going to grow and just take over. But
right.
Looking in, could you see what was happening? And not see what was happening, but what how did you feel when you saw Today, Too Big, the first album, Big, second they had the second album, I'm thinking, but the song for House Party 2 was Why You Getting Funky on Me, which was a massive hit, and then it didn't work out for them. Did you then think, wow, this is the business, I need to be careful? Or
oh yeah, absolutely. Like I knew all the stuff that was pretty much going on because of my relationship with Bob and Bernard. And even when I got the call to you know, to go to Virginia for Blackstreet, you know, there were conversations, you know what I'm saying? Not necessarily that I wanted to hear it, but it was nothing but love, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, look, man, you know what I'm saying? You see what happened with us, you know what I mean? Just, you know, so
yeah.
You know, I took the advice they gave me, and, you know, I decided to do it anyway. And
yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah, the I know, because I know Chauncey and Bobman that were a lot of background stuff out in Virginia and stuff. But you get the call to come out there to join Blackstreet after Dave left. And you know, he featured on one of their biggest hits on their first album, Before I Let You Go, and then Levi's gone, and so it is yourself and Mark joining in. what was the reservation? What did you think about, wow, a group has already done a platinum album, done some big hits, and now we're going to step in and replace. What did you think about that?
I felt like these are some big shoes to fill, but I can do it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, like I said, I grew up with Chauncey. I knew Chauncey. We knew each other since we was probably 15 or 16 years old.
Mm.
And then that was a blessing for me. You know what's crazy? I had a brother that passed away in '96, right?
Wow.
So the day of his funeral is the day I got the call to be a part of Blackstreet.
Wow.
And it's so crazy. The day of his funeral, Teddy called Bernard. Bernard called me. And he was like, yo, he said, what you doing, man? I said, I'm chilling. He said, you sitting down? I was like, what's up, man? He said, I got a call. I said, what's up? Who hit you? He said, Teddy. And he said, Teddy wants you to be in Blackstreet. I was like, oh, man. I felt like that was that was my brother, that was my brother in heaven blessing me.
Okay. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So by this time, Bernard was back in Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
And but then you get a call to come in '96. The album came out. Another Level came out. Was it '96 or '97?
'96, September '96. So March of '96 is when I got the call, and the album came out in September.
How many tracks were you able to be on in that show?
I was on everything. Yeah, they were already recording. Like they had already, most of the stuff was written and backgrounds and stuff were recorded. When I got there, we were pretty much doing leads. So he added me to the backgrounds, and we just laid it out.
Okay. One of I mean, so you come. Was that your first time of Future Records recording?
First time, yeah.
What was it? I mean, what was it? Because I know you sort of met Teddy briefly back in the day, but what was it like coming to Virginia Beach, seeing the guy in the studio and with his team of producers? And
it was everything. That was a dream. Well, it wasn't really a dream. Yeah, it was a dream come true. I won't front, because I thought Teddy was so crazy. Like, he was incredible. And I would. This is another thing. Even with, I'm going back to the Flex now.
Yeah.
So we would have meetings, like, we would record songs, and then Lil would come in to listen to what we did. And he crushed me one day. Like, we thought what we had was tough. Like, we had dope records, right? And Lil comes in to meet and listen to what we doing. And he was like, he said, all right, let me let y'all hear something. And Teddy was working on Barbie's album at that time.
That's one of my top 3 albums, the Barbie album.
And this man, Lil Silas Jr., goes and plays this Bobby Brown album. And after that, I was like, I don't want to do the Flex no more. I was like, that's it. I was like, that's it. And then not long after, a couple years later, I get the call from Teddy. So I was like, yes, let's go.
So for those who are listening, so Lil Silas Jr. was the Barry Gordy of the 80s and 90s, MCA. He was responsible for New Edition and Guy and Uptown and he all of that. All of the stuff. I remember speaking with Melvin Riley Jr. and he was saying how when he passed Ready for the World, it affected how it affected their record, their sales and everything, because he did mixes, drums and all that stuff. We'll just before you get to Blackstreet, because it's good because I think I'm learning about him because we know he signed Aaron to Silas Records Jr. Silas Records. What was he? I've heard. I want people to get to know what he was like for black music
Well, he was like you said, Barry Gordy in the '90s. He was everything for black music. Yeah, he was. Lil was incredible. Now, see, I didn't know him all that well personally. You know what I mean? I just know his.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, I
okay.
got you there.
Yeah, but yeah, Lil was he was black music. He was R&B music at that time. That's what it was.
So when he was playing the Bobby album, was he trying to say, "Nah, this is what I want you guys to do"? Or what?
Yeah, pretty much. He was like, yeah, that's cute. What y'all doing is cute. But this is what I need. I need something like this. And Marley wasn't. Marley in hip hop.
Yeah, was the
Hip
Don
hop, Marley was like on the
Untouchable.
level with Teddy.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
when it came to what we were trying to do, he didn't have that. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So it's basically left up to us. You know what I'm saying? And we weren't competing with that.
What was your favorite track on the Bobby album?
All right.
Yeah, One More Night.
Ooh, my
Yeah,
God. Killed that joint.
yeah. That
Yeah.
is my favorite track on that. It's 6.5 minutes. It just goes up, and it's a song, and it breaks it. Yeah,
But yeah,
just give me
the
one
way he
more
breaks
now.
it down, even with
Yeah.
the hook, he'll take two of the notes out and have one. Teddy don't think like that no more. He ain't on that level to me
Yeah, yeah,
personally.
yeah,
This
yeah,
ain't
yeah,
no hate or nothing. He just ain't doing that innovative stuff anymore.
yeah,
It's
yeah. I would say that the Bobby album, production wise, was probably. I mean, you know, the Guy album.
yeah.
The first Guy album. That with Timmy and the Groove Me was just a different. So you don't really put them in, because that's when he created a whole new sound. Other people talk about the Future, because it was lots of variants and
The
everything.
production on Future was better to me.
Yeah, yeah,
It was a better sounding
yeah.
album.
No, yeah, yeah. Dave Way was the engineer there.
Yeah,
Bernard was heavily involved and stuff. But the Bobby album, to me, the sounding, the instruments, they did 7 tracks. He got Mary, Bob, he got everyone working
yeah.
on that. It's still one of my favorite albums. And
It's a crazy album still.
yeah, and I think you are right but the first Blackstreet album too. They took a lot of the energy from the Bobby album, and you could tell musically they
Yeah,
they did.
around the same time, right?
Yeah,
I
they
got
did a
you.
lot, but I don't know what happened after, from the mid to late '90s. As you said, the taking the chances and stuff sort of changed. But
Yeah,
we'll move to that now. From the Blackstreet, the Another Level, um, Can't Get You Out of My Mind.
mm,
That was that. That was a good. I mean, I was like, wow, this is different from the rest of the stuff, and it was as long as like a story being told, and you
mm.
could visualize what was on the other stuff. You're dancing to it, but that was the main track on that album that you could think, wow, he's telling a story, and you're following it. When the video came out for Have Plenty, I was like, man, who are these women singing? Because it spoiled the song. It
See,
spoiled
Teddy, this is the problem with Teddy, right? Teddy he don't want to let nobody else get shine. Now that record, that's my record. That's a record
Yeah.
I produced and I wrote, right?
Mm.
And truthfully, that record was written probably 10 years before we did it.
Wow.
But when I got to Virginia, Teddy knew that I was writing and stuff, so I played it for him. He was like, "Yo, we got to do that," and he definitely took my production to a whole nother level on that
Okay.
record, no
Okay.
doubt. But when it came to like people wanted us to release that song as a single.
Yeah.
Teddy wouldn't do it because he didn't produce it. It wasn't his record, so he wouldn't do it. And then when it got to a point where they insisted that we use it for this movie, he went and remixed it so it could be his version in the movie.
They have plenty. Okay.
Yeah, man, that's Teddy's problem right there. That's
Okay.
his problem. He don't want nobody else to shine, yo. He does.
Yeah. I
And
I
it's
I
that.
yeah, I didn't like the yeah, you know, it was a lot of people have written down and says, well, that was one of their favorite Blackstreet Out songs, and to me it was one of my favorite ones. But yeah, I didn't like the remix at all.
Me either.
And I didn't like the girls singing it. It just didn't sound great at all. But so that's okay.
Yeah.
Because you brought it, yeah, because that was a very different style into it. But then, what was the experience right on the other tracks? So like No Diggity. I mean, what was it like when they were coming up with the beats and they were saying, "Come on, guys."
Well, No Diggity was one of the songs that we started when I was there.
Okay.
But a guy by the name of Will
Trick,
Styles, I think this is
it was tricky or something. Okay.
yeah, Will did that. He came up with that song and penned it pretty much. I wasn't in the studio when it was written, but No Diggity was that joint is still crazy.
Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
as but what was it when you guys were there? Did Mark was he already there before
Yeah,
when?
Mark was there before I got there.
Okay,
Yeah.
a lot of people asked, did you know Dave Hollister before you got the call to join Blackstreet?
No.
Okay, okay. Or Levi, did you know Levi before?
No. And Levi's from Jersey too, but I didn't know him.
Okay,
But Bub knew him and Bernard knew him. Like, you know, like I said, I was in the church. Like I was, you know what I'm saying?
You're making it seem
They
like
wasn't in the church.
okay. I would have thought because Bob sounds like he was almost like the bishop's son the way he sings. I
No,
mean,
no, no. Bub was in the church. Bub was in the church. But like I don't know Levi from in the church.
okay,
You
okay,
know what
okay,
I'm saying?
okay.
Like if Levi had been in the church, I would know him. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
okay, okay, okay. Yeah. But then so yeah, so Mark comes in. I think he's probably, vocally, I don't know how many people can reach his range, and he just seems very quiet and stuff. But when you looked at the dynamic when you joined, because you must have seen the first Blackstreet album and known about and seen Dave and Levi, and then you and Mark are coming in, did you think there's a gap, or did you think, oh man, we're sounding better collectively, or what was your thinking?
I mean, I didn't really compare it. You know what I mean? I just knew that we had something crazy, like the chemistry, like the brotherhood, everything was just it. Like it was spiritual. I mean,
Mm.
that's basically that's all I can say about it. It was a spiritual experience doing that
Mm.
album. Like we slept in the studio. We had cots. Like we was just knocking it out, and we enjoyed being around each other.
I mean, you're saying you got there in March and the album came out in September, so and you would have had to go to master it, so you had very small window to. But you said that a lot of the production was done, and it's just about vocal.
Yeah, but prior to me coming to Virginia, prior to me getting the call to come, they had already auditioned a few people, and I think they went to Trinidad to record the album to get focused.
Okay.
And so they did most of the backgrounds and the writing and all of that stuff there. So when they got back to Virginia, it was really just fine tuning, cutting leads, and mixing.
Yeah. Apart
Yeah.
from No Diggity, what would you say is one of your other favorite tracks on that on another level?
That's a lot. Let's Stay in Love was
Oh yeah,
crazy to me. Um, I Want to Be a Man,
yeah,
Paradise, uh, The Lord is Real for sure.
yeah.
It was only one song that I didn't like on the album.
Which one was that?
I'll give it to you. Have you want it? I ain't like that song
Oh,
at all.
give it. Yeah, 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 yeah,
I,
yeah, yeah. And
that's
yeah.
that's that's the only song I don't like.
Okay.
I don't like it, but
Yeah, yeah,
that's a crazy album, man. I'm truly blessed to have been a part of
yeah.
that record. Yeah.
So I remember 96 when it came out. I was in Wisconsin, Milwaukee in college, and you guys came out probably this week or this week or the week after Home Again, New Edition.
No, the albums came out the same day.
Oh, the same day. So okay, so I knew that I knew that they were number one, and you guys
Right,
slowly kept up, and then passed them.
right.
Um, I was you guys came to Milwaukee in '97 on tour. You were with 702 and New Edition, I think,
Keep
and
Sweat.
Keith Sweat. Although Keith
Mhm.
didn't come to Milwaukee, but it was just yourself, 702 and New Edition. First time, so as I said, I was in the crowd, and you guys came out. I still remember when you guys did you did Billie Jean. I'm like, wow, you only
Don't
did.
do it, man. Why
Huh?
you gotta mention that?
It was. I mean, I was going. I'm a big Michael Jackson fan. So
Oh, so you
yeah.
enjoyed it, is what you're
Oh,
saying.
there was yeah. Come on, I was really. I'm like, wow, you guys did Billie Jean because you did a Billie Jean No Diggity remix. So
Right.
so
I remember.
yeah. So I was like, wow, this is great. And then of course, so I've been on many concerts. I've seen Mint Condition, Mary, Boys to Men. I can't even, you know, in the summertime everyone shows up, but that was still my favorite concert ever because
Yeah. Wow.
because
That's
you
what's
guys
up.
rocked it. And as I said, I've been a big Teddy fan since from the 80s, but then
Right.
seeing Blackstreet perform, but the New Edition come out, and even though the album wasn't as good, but they've been performing since they were 5 years old, kind
Oh,
of
well,
thing. So
it's
you,
still crazy.
yeah. So
I,
you had,
I every night I stood on the side of the stage to see them dudes every night.
yeah. I tell people
Every
if you
night.
hadn't seen them, because that year, they had Bell Biv DeVoe would come and do their set. Yeah, Johnny do his set, Ralph do his set, and Bobby does his set, and then they all come together. I'm saying, they could have done the whole night on their by themselves, but
Well,
yeah. So that's how crazy they were. But they, the last time New Edition and Guy were on the road back in the 90s, ladies, they had a beef and all that stuff. When
mhm.
you guys want to talk, can you? Was it all love? There was no like,
Oh
oh
yeah, yeah. None of that. No, none of that. I mean, like Blackstreet is just like we quiet. You know what I mean. Nobody's really, like we just do our gig and keep
hmm.
it moving, man. That was a good thing for me.
So in the 90s, here's Blackstreet coming out, and you see what Jodeci were doing. Boyz II Men were doing their stuff. You had Jagged Edge. You had, I mean, the 90s and bands were just unbelievable. How did you think you guys did when it came to not being compared? Because I wouldn't have, I don't know many people that wouldn't have compared Blackstreet to Boyz II Men or Jodeci or Jagged Edge. It almost felt as if you guys had your own lane, and people were like, "Oh, that's Blackstreet," and they didn't like lump you in with the rest of the groups. What was your thoughts?
I mean, yeah, I guess that's a Teddy thing. Teddy wanted to. He didn't want to. He didn't want us drinking, and nobody smoked or anything. But if you go to a club, you will have a drink. You couldn't do it around Teddy because Teddy, he'd be like, "Yo, you got me." You know what I'm saying?
No, I've spoken to people who've known him since the 80s, and they said that's the thing, he just didn't do drugs or drinking and stuff, so he was always, but for you guys, you went in the news for anything, so there wasn't any bad publicity around Blackstreet, it was just,
Like I said, we all came up in the church. Like we didn't live crazy like that. Not to say nobody else is living crazy. I'm just
yeah, yeah,
speaking
yeah,
on us.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know what I'm saying? So yeah, like we do the show. We didn't do too many after parties or any of that.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So I guess that's really what kind of separated us.
Yeah.
Along with the music, like our album was a lot, you know what I mean? Like we had a bunch of different styles of music on our album.
Yeah.
And I can't say that for any of the other groups. I mean, not that I could think of, not that I could recall right now.
Yeah. But then also you didn't have, on the another level, you didn't have a lead singer as such. So,
Right.
you know, and, you know, Boys to Men would have their, you know, 1A would always do the end, and you had Sean that was started off, and so you always had the progression, so you always knew what to expect. With Jodeci, it was mainly KC, then JoJo would join in and stuff. So, but with you know, with Blackstreet, it was, you know, depending on the song, you'd all have your parts and stuff, and it was very different collectively.
Yeah, Teddy, he did that purposely, which was awesome. I mean, you know, we all got, as far as the recording, we all got, you know, equal time.
Yeah.
I would say on the records. Now, in visually, the whole nother story. You know
Oh, okay. I'm just trying to.
Yeah, Teddy wants to be out front. Teddy wants to be out front, and which was cool with me because that's not my, you know, I mean, that's not my thing anyway. But
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you guys, you win a Grammy for. I remember you guys on the Tonight Show. I lived, cause I moved to LA, but yeah, I lived in the States, and I remember when Jay Leno says, "Congratulated you guys for knocking Macarena off the off the chart," because Macarena
I
was,
remember that.
yeah. We have to congratulate you
I
guys.
remember
With that, I mean,
Yeah.
were you surprised how the song took off and just became a number one, Billboard number one? I mean, this is not
Yes,
uh, I mean, still playing now, but were you surprised as a group, or did you think, yeah, we knew it was gonna?
I was surprised. The group they would probably say no, but for me, yeah, that was. I mean, the record was dope to me, but I
Yeah,
didn't think I didn't think it would
it would
do
cross
it.
over.
Nah, I didn't think so. I'm so glad it did, though.
Yeah. What
Thank you.
difference? What difference did it make? You know, I mean, having the cross that hit being the first single. I mean, did it just mean that take a lot of pressure, or what was it like?
Yeah, I would say. You know, because they always talk about this sophomore jinx, and you know what I mean.
Okay.
So that was talk around then. But yeah, that record came out and just went crazy. They had to stop selling the single to sell the album. It was so nuts.
Yeah, I mean, but I mean, back in those, they still had singles that had like 10 remixes and stuff.
Oh, Teddy was a remix master. He had crazy remixes for that album.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, as I said, you had the Billie Jean version remix. Was buying all the maxi singles on that. Yeah, which, as I said, I was a big Michael fan, but a massive Teddy fan. So, you know, for us,
Yeah.
um, touring though, how was it for you? Because that album meant going on tour around the world. What was that like for you?
Well, we didn't tour much. That was one of the issues why the group broke up for real. Because shortly after that album came out, the success of that album got Teddy a label deal.
Oh,
And
Little Man, yeah,
yeah,
LOR.
so now he has little man artists that he's got to turn in albums for. And he couldn't tour and produce albums. So we didn't get to tour much. We did the New Edition tour. We may have done one or two European tours, and that's pretty much it for real.
Oh,
Yeah, we didn't tour much at all.
because did the promoters not want? Could have stayed behind and done production, but could.
Oh, he wasn't doing that. That's what should have happened, but he wouldn't allow that.
Okay, so in those, so there were a lot of people wanted. So in those, when he was doing the stuff, he says, "Look, if I'm not going to be there, you guys can't go
Yeah,
out and tour."
it wasn't even talk of touring. You know what I'm saying? It was just if somebody wanted us to tour, it never got to me. You know what I'm saying? He was working on these records and he needed to be working. He needed to be in the studio.
Yeah.
So we missed out on a gang of money touring
Wow.
because yeah.
Joe, so after the New Edition one, that was it. So you guys stayed back and stuff. So then, what happens to three members of the group when Teddy's busy working in the studio? What did the three of you guys do?
Well, I was doing my own music stuff. You
So
know what
that's
I
when
mean?
Jahiem and Donnell Jones and stuff were coming in.
Probably, yeah, probably around that time. But yeah, I mean, like I said, that's one of the issues that Blackstreet always had. Even during the first Blackstreet, from what I understand.
Yeah, yeah.
It's, you make an album to go on tour because you know you're not gonna make money on the albums. So you make your money on tour, but he didn't allow us to tour.
Uh, so and I guess for fans who aren't in the industry, if you're selling 8 million albums, I would assume that the group's really getting a nice little check in the post for selling that many albums.
The groups never recoup. Groups never recoup. The album is they were selling albums for what, $17?
Yeah, yeah,
At that
16.99.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the group gets, I believe we were getting like 25 cents
Wow.
for the album. Yeah, like you
Per
make your
album.
money on tour. Yeah. The group. I ain't talking about me, the group. And
And
out
then
of
they
that,
split it into four.
not only that, you got flights, you got hotels, you got like all of your expenses come out of your
25
royalties.
cents.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, man. And so if you don't tour, you're not making money. And we didn't tour.
Wow. Okay. Goodness. And I think that's the hard part as to how. But then was Blackstreet signed to
Yes, it was a
Teddy
production.
Productions? So because I think we've seen the TLC stuff, so they were signed to Pebbles. So Pebbles got a big chunk of the stuff from LaFace, and so they were left
Yeah.
with stuff. So the same sort of thing with sort of Blackstreet is that okay, you're signed to.
I'm sure that's happened with most of these R&B groups that are
Yeah,
signed to a production company. Yeah. So the production company, the record label pays the production company, and the production company is supposed to pay the artist, but
yeah,
it don't always happen that way.
yeah. I mean, and I think that's the cycle that you said. It's I was robbed. I need to recoup what I lost 10 years ago, kind of thing, and interest.
I guess.
Yeah. So but then you guys go back to work on but in between that you guys were doing, you did the remix with Janet, Get So Lonely, you did the stuff with Jay-Z, you did the stuff with Foxy Brown, so you were still putting in work of single still
Yeah,
being
that was on
relevant.
the first album. Yeah.
Yeah, so you were still, because you were still dropping singles until you started working on the Family album. What going into that album, Mark leaves, and people ask, okay, how did Terrell shows up and disappears? What was what was the situation? Because we never got to hear what happened to Mark and
Okay.
how Terrell shows up.
I'll tell you. So we went on a New Edition tour,
Yeah,
right? And you said you were there,
yeah,
right?
I was my favorite tour.
Okay, so we weren't the headliners on that tour,
Yeah, it
New
was
Edition,
New Edition. Yeah,
but we spent as much money in our production as New Edition did.
yeah, it was a big set. Yeah.
Right, and it shouldn't have been. So when we got off tour, we had no money. We didn't. I made maybe $5,000, $10,000 on that tour.
Oh, are you kidding me? Every night, every city.
Every night, every city, that money was supposed to be sent into an account for us when we got off tour. When we got off tour, Teddy Riley told us that there was no money. He told us that management has stolen the money and there was no money. But wait, luckily, the budget for the new album just opened up, right? So that's his way of pacifying us. Now, after the success of the first album, we were told that we would each get $500,000 as an advance. When they released the budget, so okay, again, we get off tour, there's no money. When he releases the budget for the next album, there's $100,000 instead of $500,000 for each of us. And Mark said, "Where's my money? Like, this is not what we agreed to. This is not what we were told." And that's pretty much why Mark left the group or was put out the group. I don't know exactly how it went, but Mark stood up and demanded his money, and now he's out of the group.
Was this advance coming from Interscope?
Say it again?
Was it Interscope that says this is what we're going to give you, each of you guys, the $500,000? Was that Interscope?
This was Teddy. This was Teddy's accountant.
Oh, saying that. Okay.
Teddy's personal accountant who told us how much money that we should each be receiving on the next album.
Okay.
And so the budget comes up, and we $400,000 short.
Okay.
So Mark couldn't. He wouldn't stand for it. He wouldn't do it. Me, I was in a situation where, I'm like, I was dependent on that money from the tour. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And now it's not there. So, okay, I'll take this. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, it was Teddy's he's something else, man. And I know that's not the first time you heard it, and it won't be the last time you heard it. Everybody's not gonna lie on the man. You know what I mean? Just look at it. You look at Guy. You look at Today. You look at Bernard Bell. You look at Blackstreet. Like, why is all this revolving? Like, how many members have there been in Blackstreet? Joseph Stone Street, Levi, Chauncey, Dave, me, Mark, Terrell. That's 7 people. Why? It's one common denominator.
Yeah.
And that's theater.
Yeah. When we spoke about because I've had various interviews, and a lot of the common denominators from that is what they reflected back on is that this person had gone through stuff, and it's almost as if you said that you aren't like that. You would you can't say if someone stole from you, that means I'm going to have to steal back from you in order to recoup, and then once I think I'm satisfied that I can come back. But it's and I do wonder if people do this deliberately, or if they know what they're doing, or as I said,
yeah, they know what they're doing.
But so you decided, okay, and you also had stuff coming in through your publishing and other stuff, and so you said, okay, you know what, I'll and you were almost given a heads up that look, things can go south a little bit, so be on guard. So did it surprise you, or was it more?
I mean, well, it did surprise me because stuff like this has happened so many times before, but it did surprise me. Like, why would you do this? Like, like I drive up to the studio one day and there's nobody there. It's just Teddy and Chauncey. And so, like, this was after we did a tour or something, and we came home. And so, you're going to take a few days for yourself or whatever. And then after that, you go to the studio and no one's there. I'm like, what's going on? So one of them was like, you didn't hear, you don't know what's going on? I was like, nah. I said, Mark's not in the group no more. And I'm saying, like, okay, what you gonna do now? You gonna bring somebody else into the group? Like, how many times do you think this is gonna work? That's what I was surprised about. Like, how many, like, how many times you think you're gonna be able to get away with swapping numbers? It worked. It worked with Dave and Levi, but that don't mean it's gonna work every time. You know what I mean? And it didn't. It didn't work.
Yeah,
Marley album, yeah.
What the with Terrell? Where did he come from? Did you know him from anywhere, or was he just he audition?
There's a guy named a guy by the name of Kenny Quilla, who's a good friend of Teddy, who, you know, like a lot of the talent that Teddy's worked with came from him. Like somebody that he knows. So he knew Terrell, and Teddy put the word out, you know, I'm looking for a guy. And Terrell is, I still talk to Terrell to this day. Terrell is cool, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it wasn't even about Terrell. It was about, you know what I mean? Like, first of all, the album wasn't all that great. That's for one. But you can't keep, you just, you know, like people see this and, you know, you're like, hold on now, last week it was these two guys. First it was these two, like, come on.
And I guess that there's also the fact that, you know, it's not a supermarket. You guys have developed a relationship, you know, so you sung together, you toured together, so that it's not just that there's a connection that's been built.
Yeah, we were connected. We were connected. But, you know, like I don't blame Mark if he left or if they, like, I'm still not, I don't know 100%. I don't blame him. And I used to see, like, it was so strange. Like, I would see Mark, like, you know, we get our car service at the same time or whatever, and I wouldn't even know what to say to him. You know what I mean? Because he might be thinking I had something to do with it. You know what I mean? But since Blackstreet, me and Mark are like we brothers. You know what I'm saying? Like, Mark and I have stayed in contact. Like, we have a business together. Like, me and Mark are, yeah.
But during that time though, when you see him, did you just say what's up, or did you just walk away, or?
No, I just said what's up, Mark. You know, and he'd be like, "What's up?" You know what I mean? But it wasn't.
You didn't talk about what happened.
Because I really didn't know what happened. Like, I didn't even. You know what I'm saying? I still don't even know the whole
stuff.
The whole story. I know it was money that was promised, and then the money didn't show up. Oh, you want to give me these crumbs when I'm supposed to get this?
Yeah.
And there was a conversation, and from the conversation, I don't know if he bounced or if, you know, or if Teddy said, I don't want to deal with him because he asking about his money.
Yeah. You also did mention the album. What do you think went wrong with the production of the Finally album? I mean, people thought even the name was almost like a voodoo thing to say your album's called Finally, because it almost spells the end. But what was different when you guys went to record and work on that compared to the energy on another level?
I mean, we have been burned. Well, for me anyway. You know what I mean? During that album, I only came to the studio when they called me to do vocals. Like, I wasn't there just hanging around. Hey, we need you to do some vocals. All right, I'm coming. And that's how it was with me.
Yeah.
As far as the songs and the production, I don't know. I think Teddy had gotten a new, he had rebuilt his studio. So he had rebuilt the studio, and he got rid of his console and got a new one. And, you know, I think that had a lot to do with it. Like you said, the title of the album might have had something to do with it, but it wasn't the same without Mark being there.
Yeah. And what about and then I guess there were changes in the engineering and production team as well.
Yeah, Servin was Servin there for that album? Nope. I don't think so. Nope. Junior was there, but I don't think Servin or John was there.
Oh, John Marie, yeah. Yeah, so it sounded and I think the first single, The Boyfriend Girlfriend, is probably the worst song on the album. What was the feeling? Because I know it's Janet, but you could have brought on another track. I wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah, but that song wasn't the song even before Janet got on it. It was like that whole album was.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't like the song. It was it just didn't make sense, that particular track, and you had even yeah, J Rue on it, and it didn't have no cohesiveness. I told Mucho when I interviewed him that he should have. Your Love was probably, with Sauce Money, was probably the closest to No Digging. Probably would have been a better lead single. If you were to pick anything from the album, I would have put Your Love. Um, the one with Sauce
Sauce
Money.
Money, I forgot about Sauce.
I thought that track was probably one of the better leader singles. Drama. We were told that Mary was supposed to be on the track. What happened?
Yeah, so that's another song that me and Wes produced.
Yeah, I knew that. Yeah.
So I think what happened was, well, I'll tell you what happened. Teddy was supposed to do some production for her album, on that album she was working on at the time, and they spoke about this song, and then I was supposed to feature on one of her records.
Mm.
So I flew to New York because it's my song. So I'm recording her vocal. She thought that Teddy was coming to record her vocal because she thinking that this is a Teddy song, but it's really my, it's my song. So anyway, so Teddy sends me to New York. I go in to cut her vocal, and the following day we have a session booked for her song. So I go in the studio with her, and she wants to set up 2 mics in two rooms and record the song back and forth, like with ad-libs, right? But that I don't think fast like that to do ad-libs. She say something and I'm feeding off of her going right back in. That's
Is it like a cipher kind of thing? Or?
Yeah, I guess. Some people could do that. Some people have that. Mary has it. Like she could just sing ad-libs, what I mean?
Goodness.
Me, I'm going to I'll try something and then, hold on, let's rewind that and do it back. But I can't do that if she's, if we going at the same time, I got to feed off of her.
Yeah.
So anyway, long story short, I think she got a little tight about that, as well as Teddy not coming to record the session, even though it was my session, but he didn't relay that to her. So I ended up not being on her record, and she called Jimmy Iovine or Doug Morris or whoever and told them that she didn't want to be on the Blackstreet record. But that, go ahead, I'm listening.
No. So you already had her vocals for the song.
Yeah, we had her vocals, but she wanted them off. She didn't want to be a part of it. She said, "Take my vocals off. I don't want to be." And then she got, I think she got Joe to try this record with her record that I was supposed to be on, and then I think Casey ended up doing it with her. Don't ask me the name. I forgot.
No, it's fine.
But it was a dope record too. I ain't gonna front. I missed out on that one because of Theodore.
So do you think if he had come to the studio, it could have worked out differently? I'm
pretty sure it would have worked out differently. Yeah, because she was like. Plus, I kind of, I think at that point, like I ain't gonna say at that point. I think producers just let Mary go in the studio and just sing. You know what I mean? And then that's good for them. Me, I was trying to get what I wanted out of her. And I think she was looking at me like,
who are you?
Who are you? Yeah, exactly. like, who are you to be trying to tell me how to sing? So it didn't work out.
But when she made the call, Teddy didn't try and smooth it out?
I don't know, man. I'm not involved with that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I just got there and realized Mary's coming. Matter of fact, I didn't realize it until I heard the new girl on the record. I was like, what happened? Mary don't want to be on the record no more. Then I thought about it. I was like, well, yeah, she was a little tight that he wasn't there. And then the thing with her and me, she wanted me to go back and forth, but I was like, nah, I can't do it like that. I said, I tell you what, you lay your ad-libs and then I'll feed off of what you're doing. That way, when I need to stop and go back, it's not messing you up. But she was like, she really couldn't understand it. She was like, what you mean? I'll get him on the mic, you get on the mic, we go back and forth. I was like, we could try it, but that ain't really my thing. I can't.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess I find it strange because I think we're gone used to singers recording, stopping, and then patching it together. But she wanted to. She records as if she's live on stage.
But I'm saying no. At this particular point in the song, she wants that vibe, like where you feeding off of one another, which is dope. Like I wish I could do it.
Yeah.
It's just not me. You know what I mean? So. That was a little.
Wow. Yeah. My goodness. Yeah. Cause we were, I think cause we got all the leaks that, Mary's going to be on drama. We saw all the previews.
I got a vocal. I got a tape of it somewhere. I got a cassette of it somewhere with her on it, but yeah, we recorded it, but she decided that she didn't want to be on it.
I thought, because I saw, if you search drama featuring Mary, it's on YouTube, but I thought maybe I didn't realize she actually did record it, because that I've seen her sing it, but I don't know how it got leaked. I don't know how.
You saw her sing it?
No, not see her, the vocals. So if you search for her on YouTube, you can get to hear the version of drama featuring Mary.
Oh, really? Oh, somebody at the label must have leaked it.
Yeah, because they seem to do that a bit. So it wouldn't have been yourself, but they do. Somebody has leaked it out on YouTube already. So, but how did it sound compared to the girl that did feature on
it? See, this might be one of the issues too, because I was being super critical because I wanted Teddy to like it. I wanted him to love it. You know what I mean? So when we finished, my thing was, all right, I'm gonna play it for Teddy and see what he thinks.
With Mary on it.
Right. He may want you to do some stuff over or whatever. And she was like, all right, cool, whatever. And when I played it for Teddy, he was like, yo, he's like, yo, that's crazy. I was like, all right, I was like surprised. I thought, he might be like, you didn't do a good enough job getting
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But he liked it, he loved it, and then it just didn't happen. Like she didn't want to be on it for whatever reason. I really don't know the real reason, but I think it's because he was supposed to do some stuff for her, and then he didn't do it, and then I show up at the session.
Yeah. The thing is that because we expected Mary on the track, because if we hadn't expected Mary on the track, we wouldn't have thought any better, and we would have just enjoyed the song as it is. But because we're thinking Mary with the attitude, especially that kind of track, we were just imagining her singing it with that kind of passion. So if you're listening to it thinking, yeah, we've been robbed with this. So I think that's how I felt, because I listened to it and I'm thinking, this doesn't sound like Mary, because we were told she was going to be on it. If we didn't were told, we probably would have just enjoyed the track as it was.
Right, I got you.
Yeah. Then also, is it I Dream in Black and White? That was the next single that came out, and
that was a single.
Yeah. I Dream in Black and White, but I Make Love in Color.
No,
that was the second single that came out. Yeah, they had the video where the glasses are breaking inside the room and stuff. Yeah.
He did a video for that? No.
Yeah, he did a video for that.
Nah, it was Think About You. I read the paper. Or was that on the drama album? Not the drama album.
The Never Level 2?
Yeah, Level 2.
Yeah, no, that was I Dream in Black and White. But
I don't, I
Yeah,
don't
I don't.
remember that.
But you know what? I looked at the tracks, the album. I was like, oh goodness, yeah. Um, it just didn't fall through. But now you explain about the chemistry, the vibe, and what was
Yeah,
going on.
it was very different. It was
Yeah,
very
but then
different.
after the album fell short, what happened to you guys then? How did it just disband? What?
They Interscope dropped us from Universal. It's like out of nowhere, boom, it's over.
But you guys have just, you did platinum with your first. The second album does it over 8 million worldwide, wins a Grammy. You've got
Yeah, I
Teddy
think
there, and they
what
could just
happened
drop you.
was
Okay.
what happened was Interscope. Jimmy Iovine wanted us to. Okay, so they were doing a merger at the time.
Okay.
They were doing this big merger, and Jimmy told Teddy to wait to put the album out because he couldn't get behind it like he needed to, being that they were doing this merger. And Teddy insisted to put the album out. Teddy wanted his own staff now, and he basically pissed Jimmy off. That's what happened. Teddy is a superstar now. I sold all these records and boo boo boo. I know what I'm doing. Put my album out. And that's what happens. He did it to himself. Jimmy asked Dre to hold off on putting records out, which Dre did. I think R. Kelly was signed at the time. He told R. Kelly we going through a merger now. Now's not the time to put the album out. R. Kelly listened, but Teddy didn't.
Wow. So when you guys get dropped, what happens to you guys?
Teddy works on a Guy 3 album. That's what happened.
Yeah, but so MCA comes back and says, okay, Universal comes then and they grab him and say, yeah, because I've spoken to Mucho and how 911. Were you there where they were Diesel and then we're doing 911?
Mm-hmm.
What were your thoughts? Did you think, wow, these guys are going to take over from us, or did you think they were?
Nah, Diesel is, well, Diesel was, he passed away.
Yeah.
Diesel was phenomenal, man. They have some dope records too. Matter of fact, I think we did one of
Misery.
the records.
He did Misery. Yeah. You did Misery, but then when you hear that Teddy's going to do Guy 3, are you guys still signed?
It was over at that point. Yeah, we weren't. Yeah, it was bad.
How did you take it?
I mean, it was bad, man. It was he left us. He just left us stuck for real. But he did call me to do some writing on that Level 3 album, which I did. But one song anyway. But yeah, that was pretty much the end of Blackstreet at that point. So
then yourself, Chauncey, Terrell, do you guys say, what do we do? Do we go on tour? Did you just all go your separate ways, or? We just all went our separate ways, pretty much. And then you went back into your writing, production, or what did you end up doing? Yeah. I mean, if it wasn't Blackstreet, that's what I was trying to do. Yeah. And so then the Guy 3 album doesn't do, they come out one single, it does well, but then the rest of it, he actually worked with Darren. Did you? Yeah, that's the same song. That's Dancing. Yeah. Actually, I presented that song to Teddy for them. Okay. Did Darren tell you, hey, this is what we have, or did you? What was it? How did that? I don't remember how it went, but we was probably just hanging out, and I heard the record. I was probably like, yeah, I could play this for them or whatever. So yeah, I kind of brokered that. Okay. Were you still cool with, even though you broke up? Were you guys still talking and saying hi, or how was that like? Not really. I was like I'm a chill. Yeah, we see you in the videos. We see you in the interviews. I'm like, that's what it is. That's what it is. It's like that, but yeah. But then, so after Guy 3 breakdown, you guys come back for another Level 2. DreamWorks come and say, yeah, we want to give you a chance. How did he get? Even Mark comes back in. So who brokers that?
Chauncey. So I'm in New York working. I was working with somebody. I forget what it was, but who it was. But Chauncey calls me. He's like, "Yo, E, what's up, man? I need you, man." So I'm like, "What's up?" He's like, "I don't want to talk to you over the phone." I'm like, "Well, I'm in New York." He's like, "Well, when can you get back to Virginia?" I was like, "Tell me what's going on." Because like I said, I grew up with Chauncey. So
Yeah.
I looked at him like that's my man. So so after the session, I don't know if I cut the session or right after the session, I get in the car and I drive straight to his studio. Cause I'm trying to find out what's going on. He don't sound good. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what's
Wow.
up?
New York to
Yeah,
Virginia. How long is that? Because that sounds
6 hours.
wow.
6 hours.
So you drove 6 hours.
I didn't even go home. I went straight to him.
Wow.
And like, what's up, man? What's going on? So he's like, and I had seen Chauncey in a long time. So he's like all cut up and I'm like, so I'm like, what's up, B? Like, what's going on? He's like, well, I'm gonna talk to you. I gotta do this interview. Somebody from the UK was there interviewing him.
Okay.
So I guess they had already gotten the news that Blackstreet was coming back together. Okay, so from my understanding, they tried, it was Mark, Teddy, Dave, and Chauncey. Because I was done. Like I was done. So DreamWorks said that they didn't want that. They wanted another level lineup.
Okay.
All right. So Chauncey calls me. He's not telling me nothing about Blackstreet. So like I said, I get to a studio and he's like, "Yo, let me do this interview real quick, and then I'll let you know what's going on." So he has a security door in his studio. The only way you can get out, and once you get in, the only way you can get out, somebody has to buzz you out, buzz the door. So I have my nephew with me. Charlie, can you buzz that door, hit this door so I can get out of here? So he's doing the interview, I'll leave. So he calls me, like I'm halfway home. He's like, "What's up? Why you leave?" I'm like, "Nigga, I've been working. You call me all the way from New York. I come down here, and then you talking about you doing an interview. Like no, I'm going home." I said, if you want to holler at me, just come by the crib. So he's like, all right. I said, look, if this got anything to do with Teddy Riley, I don't want nothing to do with it. He's like, nah, this ain't got nothing to do with Teddy. So I'm like, all right, well, come by. So a little later on, a car pulls in the driveway. So I'm looking, I'm like, who is this? A white Benz. It's like, that looked like Teddy car. Teddy gets out, Mark gets out, Chauncey gets out, and Seafood gets out.
His bodyguard. I heard about Seafood.
Yes, like real talk. I wanted to fight Teddy for real. I was like, but then I saw Seafood and I was like, I ain't trying to do all that.
Yeah, I've heard about that. Yeah.
Right. So they come in and Teddy's giving me, we got a deal on DreamWorks and like I need you to do this. Like they won't do it without the four of us. And I'm like, yo, if I agree to do this, it can't be like it was. Like this got to be a four-way, four equally divided. He was like, yeah, of course, and woo, everything I wanted to hear. And then his manager,
Okay.
and she was managing us at the time. Well, prior to this, on another level album, she was managing us. So I said, look, if we do it, she can't be involved. And she was a good friend of mine too. But at that point, I was just like, nah, we got to separate business from anything else. And so he was like, yeah, nah, absolutely. She ain't going to be involved. So we pressed on. So we agreed, did the album. We having a marketing meeting. And then here she comes. She's in the meeting. I'm like, what's going on? I already told you. He's like, no. She's not here for me. She's here to represent the record label. So she works for DreamWorks now. Yeah. Now, years prior to this, I would have just said, I know better. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know, I'd have went along with it. This time, I'm like, nah, I ain't doing that no more. So I called my lawyer, like, I'm in this meeting. This person is here. She ain't supposed to be here. Teddy's telling me she works for the label and not him. She said, oh, well, let me call DreamWorks and get her employee identification number. Can you do that? I'm on speaker. So she calls. They give her the information. No, she's not an employee here, but she is. Blackstreet has retained her or something, like she's consulting for Blackstreet. That was enough for me. I was like, that's it. I'm done. So we did we did 2 singles off of that album, and then I left. I couldn't take it no more.
How did you think the album did?
I liked the album overall. It wasn't another level, but it was better than Finally. It wasn't the first album, but it was better than Finally. So it was all right with me.
Because you did Wizza and with Mystical, and you did Deep.
That Wizzy Wizzy Wow was the worst record in the history of records. But you couldn't tell, Teddy. It was better records on the album. It was just that Wizzy 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 Wow.
yeah. You know what? As big as a fan as I actually don't own the album, and I actually haven't listened to. Unfortunately, I think after Finally, I just couldn't. I just lost the interest in it. Yeah, I couldn't get it back, and you could tell, even Guy 3.
He's not he ain't doing the same type of stuff.
Yeah, so that album didn't go well. So then you go back to. Were you staying in Virginia? Go back to New York and stop. Still going back.
I stayed in Virginia.
And you were still back into writing and producing and stuff like that.
Pretty much, yeah. Even the Jahiem stuff wasn't the same. So
yeah, but then because Jahiem decided, I'm giving up. I'm not going to continue with this recording stuff, and then also the landscape of music changed. Hip hop was dominating the radio and stuff and stuff.
Yeah.
How did you adapt as a songwriter and stuff, knowing that, wow, goodness, the outlet for my songs are shrinking compared to the 90s?
Still adapting. It's it's not easy. It's not easy. But life. Life changes. Things in life change, man. You got to move on. Got to figure out some other things.
Now, the thing is that all of a sudden I started to see when I joined Instagram early this year, I started to see the official Blackstreet, and I see yourself, Chauncey, Levi, and Mark, and it was almost as if, wow, the 4 of you guys were able to come back, and you were doing lots of touring. How does that sort of this current incarnation of Blackstreet come together? And
this, it came together. So Chauncey acquired the trademark for Blackstreet, so he's the owner of the trademark.
Okay.
And Mark and I worked with Teddy for a while. Teddy and Dave. We toured with Teddy and Dave for a while.
Oh.
Then Chauncey and Dave toured with Teddy for a while. And everybody just got tired of Teddy. Teddy is we've been working together for myself, Mark, Chauncey, and Levi have been working together now for like 6 years.
6 years, wow.
Yeah, 5-6 years, and this is the best. This is the best time I've had with Blackstreet. I mean, other than the success of Blackstreet is another thing. As far as touring and just being comfortable and not having to wear things that you don't want to wear because he wants to wear it. Okay. It's a whole nother.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this what we got going on now is good, and we're working on some new music too.
Yeah, J Hart's been talking to me about
Yes, sir.
How is he as a producer? Because Mucho talks about him, Spragg talks about him. I've heard
he's crazy. You'll hear it. You'll hear it. He got some really good stuff, man.
So then, when can we expect to hear from some new stuff from Blackstreet?
Well, very soon. I'm gonna leave it at that. You know, you're gonna hear No Diggity again in a different format, a different version of No Diggity very soon, and then shortly after that, you'll hear a single from Blackstreet.
Okay. Another one of the final kind of questions they ask is, of course, everyone wants to know relationship with, because they also, because I think during the after the versus battle and stuff, what was your thoughts about it, just briefly, Teddy and Babyface? Did you watch it? Did you?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Yeah,
Okay.
I think Teddy, he didn't put his songs in the right order.
Yeah,
I think,
yeah. No, definitely.
but
Yeah.
but it was entertaining.
It
I
was an
enjoyed it.
entertaining stuff. I almost fell out my dropped my phone when I heard him play Deep. I'm thinking, of all the tracks, Don't Leave Me.
That's what I mean. Like he's not as sharp as he once was. I mean, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I've just looked. I'm looking at all the questions they've asked, and you've pretty much answered all sort of the questions in there. Um, will you collaborate with any new artists? Love to hear you sing with Tank, Chris Brown, Trey Songz, Miguel. That's somebody's asked that. Have you?
I'd love it. I mean, actually, I'm working with Leela James right now. I'm trying to get some stuff done with her.
Wow.
You know who Leela James is?
No. No.
Well, you could Google her.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
like a soul singer. Soul. You don't know who Leela James is? That's
I'm
crazy.
sure I will, but you know what? Yeah, I'm like you when you were married, not on the spot. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, because I was interviewing Father MC, and he says, I asked him what's his favorite track on Uptown, and he says One Night Stand, and I was like, I was expecting him to say Do For You or something, so of course I'm like, One Night Stand. Then he started to sing, and I was like, oh yes, of course,
Uh-oh.
I know the track. So I'm
Yeah.
sure I will. I'm just gonna go through. What do you think, Blackstreet? Okay, yeah, we've answered about the Blackstreet breaking up and stuff. Um, the as Dave, have you ever met? You've met Dave, right? Dave Hollister.
Yeah. I just
Okay.
told you. Actually, I did a song on Dave's his first solo album, Baby Mama Drama. That's the song I did.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And we've toured with Dave. Yeah, Dave is my dude.
Someone asked, did Chauncey dislike Dave? And
Nah,
no.
not that.
Okay. No, you know how it is, because cause as fans we see the change, but there isn't any. No
You
one
don't know
comes.
why,
Yeah,
right?
we
I
don't know
got
why, and I guess these are the things, and I guess that was one of the reasons why.
you. Yeah, but to see that's something that Teddy would have said to one or the other to try to cause division. He does stuff like that. I don't think
He said in an interview. He mentioned he was working with Blackstreet again to record new stuff, but that's um, and I did speak to someone in the camp that said no, that wasn't the case, but that was an interview. But just to clarify, this new track, these new albums, is the
no
four of
Teddy,
you guys and no
no
Teddy.
no Teddy, no Teddy.
Okay. How much of your stuff is going to be there? Because as I mentioned, Drama and Can't Get You Out of Your Mind were very different from the rest of the album. So you've got a very unique style of record singing and writing. How
Yeah.
much of that would we see on the album?
Well, I mean, we're just getting started. So I definitely plan to do at least one as usual. Hopefully more, but yeah, it'll be there. It'll definitely be
Okay.
there.
So with all my guests, as I wrap up, I always ask them if you were stuck in an elevator and they said it'll take a couple of hours to get it fixed, but while we're fixing it, we can get you a movie to watch. What would you request to watch?
The movie
Yeah, what movie would you want to watch if you're stuck in an elevator and they're saying, "Look, yeah, we're gonna get you out, but watch your movie until we get the thing fixed."
Life.
Okay, the
Eddie
Eddie
Murphy.
Murphy. Okay.
Like
Oh, okay.
Dream Girls is another one I like.
Wow. Okay. Live. I haven't seen that in a minute, but I will look at it. They're about to bring out the film, but they say, look, we're going to play a track just to get before the movie comes on. What song would you think you'd request to listen to?
Hold on, say it again now.
Yeah.
What's the
So
question?
they're about to put on the movie, but they say, look, it'll take us a few minutes to get the movie on. We'll play a little song for you before the movie's on. What song would you request?
One song.
Yeah, that's the one song before the movie comes on. So this will be your song. Like, yeah, man, you know what? If
Uh, that's hard. For Donny Hathaway, for all we know, I don't know.
okay, you know, most of us have a favorite track. So mine is Michael Jackson's "Baby Be My Lady in My Life." That's my ultimate song. So if I'm no matter where I am, they say, look, we have one song. I'll just always say, "Lady in My Life," Michael Jackson. That's
All right.
so. I'll just so is that Donald? How is that's your track? That's your go-to track?
Yeah, I'm gonna stay with that. Donny.
They did say who was your main influence vocally and with the style of your singing and stuff.
I always say this. It's a gentleman that I mentioned earlier. His name is Ronald Scruggs, and you've probably never heard of him,
Mhm.
but he, along with Bernard Bell, are the reason why I'm sitting here right now.
Wow,
Real talk.
wow. Are you still are you still in touch with Bernardo? Is he still because I know he
Yeah.
dropped off from doing recording and stuff and recovering and stuff.
Yeah, I speak to him quite often. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not he's not back in. He doesn't do, but he's not doing music like back in the day and stuff.
Not right now. No.
Okay. You know, it's been yeah, it's been a very interesting interview, to say the least. I mean, most guests aren't as honest as you have been, but it's like, I mean, there's quite a lot that I've heard, but it's been very good, you know, because the strange thing is that if anyone thinks about Eric from Blackstreet, he's the quiet guy, the guy who doesn't doesn't say much in interviews, is very quiet in the back, and you know, really to get to hear your side of the story and your journey has really been amazing, especially for the New Jack fans to know that you guys from, you know, because we know Bub, from back in the day. We see him, I'm hearing him on all the tracks, you know, Do the Right
Mhm.
Thing, Prerogative, and you know, you know, and so to know that you guys go back that far, that's amazing. And I'll also just know that you guys are still, you know, all still connected and still friends, and that's also really inspiring as well.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Would you ever do an Eric Williams solo CD album, or is that? Do you think that's?
I mean, I don't know, man. If yeah, I could see myself doing it at this point.
But it's not hard though. I mean, if you have your own stuff, you record it, and you don't even need a video. You can just put it out there.
This is true. This is true. We're gonna do Blackstreet first, though. We're gonna do this Blackstreet album, and depending on how that goes, it may happen. You know, it ain't over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
This is one thing that I always say. Like, you know, people keep saying, "Oh, you gotta do music like this and do that." I grew up listening to music, right? Just like you grew up listening to music. So the people, when we were putting out music, those people grew with us, right?
yeah,
So why can't I do a song that's gonna appeal to me, like somebody who grew up in my era?
yeah, yeah.
It's enough of us, you know what I'm saying?
But you know what? I've got a lot of people who watch and listen, watch my stuff, and when I do surveys, maybe 2,000 people every day would respond. So when I did Ask Eric, you know, we've gotten hundreds of responses. they watched DJ Cassidy's Pass the Mic Volume 3. It was very much the 90s. And they all say, we miss the 90s, not because the music, you had the variety, we had the change, it was not all copying the same, it was different, and it just felt good. And we want that type of music. It's not that we want to go back and keep listening to the old stuff, but we don't get that type of song. We don't get the writing. We don't get the songs. We just get young kids saying the same thing, sounding the same. Even the female rappers all sound the same. You don't. They're doing
the female vocalists. They all sound the same. I'll be like, yo, who is that? Such and such? No, they sound just like that.
Yeah. I mean, I've been seeing, everyone sounds like Cardi B. Everyone sounds and dances like Megan Stallion, because they all think, well, we need to be in that lane, and even with that, there's no diversity within hip hop. Everyone wants to sound like Future and stuff because that's what sells the record. So, but no one's brave enough to put out like your Jahiem kind of stuff, or
Blackstreet is coming. We coming, B. I promise you ain't gonna be disappointed with what we got.
I've gone to know Jay Hart, and I've gone to know his style, and I've listened to a lot of his stuff. So I'm confident in his production.
Jay Hart is he's very versatile.
Yeah.
So he's like a little Teddy, man.
I've heard of.
He's crazy.
Yeah, even Mucho. I mean, I've heard some of the Mucho stuff. Were you in the studio when Bub was doing My Way, that album? His album in '96, My Way, that had Big Bub. Were you?
I think we did it. I think
he had Zoom, and he had.
No. Yeah, but I was around when he did that.
Oh, you went back. He went to. That came out in '96.
He was in Virginia.
But you went around when that album was done.
Yeah, I was around.
Okay, what did you think of it? That's probably one of the best albums that have come out, but it didn't do well.
Yeah, that's a dope record. It's a dope record. I did a song on his Coming At You album.
Okay.
Yeah, that Zoom album was dope, man.
Yeah.
Mucho and them, they hooked him up.
Yeah. My final question as we leave is, you've known Bub, Diesel. Did you know Aaron Hall? Did you know?
I mean, yeah, I did a play with Aaron is when I first met him. I mean, not first met him, but first got acquainted with him. Yeah, but yeah, Aaron's cool people.
Yeah, but I'm just focused more on. Then you've got Mark, vocally. If you were to say, it's
Mark, say no more. Mark Middleton all day, every day.
Okay, over Diesel and Bub.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll say Mark, Diesel, Bub, and Aaron. So you got those four: Mark, Diesel, Aaron, and Bub.
I'm gonna say Diesel, but don't tell Mark I said.
No. The thing is that everyone I've spoken to who knows the three of them has always puts him. I mean, no disrespect. They said even Bob would tell you, and Bob was sung on bigger hits, and even Aaron is sung on bigger hits, and we see him a lot more. But it's almost as if people are saying you miss what Diesel could bring. I mean, Not About a Party is probably one of my best New Jack tracks, and especially kind of Fuel. But he didn't get the recognition and the publicity.
He did. Diesel was incredible, man. For real, and he was funny. Oh my God.
Wow. Yeah, they did say that you did. Did you co-produce the Misery track with him?
Actually, I wish. No. Misery was a. Did you hear Diesel's version of that?
Mucho sent it to me, and I didn't know until he sent it to me, and it's like a tragedy kind of stuff. You could feel the emotion in that compared to, I mean, Terrell's one was good, but we only saw, but until I listened to Diesel's stuff, the whole thing, it felt haunting.
It's a whole nother thing. Yeah, Diesel is amazing, man. Yeah, don't tell Mark I said
No,
that.
no, no. You know what, Eric? You've been great. It's been, yeah, it's been really a very honest interview, and I guess I always try and round it up is that you started off, talking about, coming from the church and having a very different mindset about the business side and about doing unto others as you want done unto yourself, and stuff
Man,
like that. And that's a remarkable thing, because very few people who we've interviewed or have experienced that type of person within the industry. But when you look back at, when you take away the business side of how things were, with Teddy, which is very personal, because this is income. This is not, not like, this is very personal stuff when that happens. I would hope that there are more fun memories
oh, for
over the
sure,
years than some of the negative ones.
for sure, for sure, for sure. But like I said, right now with Blackstreet touring, like we're having the best time, and I'm having the best time throughout this whole Blackstreet journey. Right now
Yeah,
is the best, and it's only gonna get better.
yeah.
More to come.
Thanks for watching. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, but most importantly, to press the notification bell so that you can be notified when we do have a new interview. Loads to come, but thanks a lot for watching.